Hello, TTRPG world. Today I'm talking about Magical Kitties Save the Day, a role playing game for all ages. Now, this is not a TTRPG book, so why am I reviewing it? Well, it's not a flip through, but I think this was a great addition to Tabletop Bookshelf because it is a role playing game for all ages, and that is a rare thing. And I'm gonna, as I do this review, I played this with my daughters. I have a 4-year old and an 8-year old daughter, and we had a and my wife, and we had a chance to play this last week, and we had a blast. So I'm going to talk about that experience, but before I do that, I want to talk about Tabletop Bookshelf. So Bookshelf is an online independent bookstore. We specialize in crowd-funded and independent producers, our publishers, and we're just getting started. So if you are interested in acquiring magical kitties or other unique titles, you can head over to our website or any of the social media channels. We have shops there, and get one of these for yourself. So magical kitties. Let's take a look inside this box. First off, the cover is great. My girls really wanted to play this. They were totally drawn in by the cuteness here, and it may be hard to tell here, but the eyes kind of glow a little bit. There you go. They have that glow on them. So, and they, my little 4-year old was saying, "Oh, that one has wings. That one has a force field or something." So there's just it's already drawing you in with that. Now, opening up here, we have our set of kitty tokens, and this is sort of a meta currency that's used. It's like your inspiration, used to roll an extra dice. They're super cute. They have the open eyes and closed eyes on the other side. The book itself, there is a starting campaign, and it comes with this lovely map. So it kind of is a little Simpson-esque. The style is a little bit, or it reminds me of that. But again, it kind of sets this idea of you're playing in this whimsical world, and it gives you a lot of different locations and opportunities for adventure. For instance, we ended up going into this junkyard down here, which was a great place to point out on the map. So the rule book. This package, by the way, comes with a ton of content. So you're getting a lot of value here. And then it comes in like a stock box, which is a little confusing. There's no cards here, but it does come with some nice dice for you. This is just a D6 dice pool system, very simple for anyone to pick up. You're building dice pools based on your capabilities, and then you're trying to roll for successes, and you'll have to get a certain number of successes based on the challenge. So one thing this also comes with is a Magical Kitty Saves the Day comic book, and this is like a choose your own style or choose your own adventure style comic book that at the same time teaches the reader how the game itself is played. So this is just a really great way to bring kids into it, especially kids who may not be into tabletop games. It gives you an idea of the world. It's doing all of these things at once, and my 4-year-old really wanted me to read through this with her, and I was really happy to share that with her and go through this little adventure here. And you can see there's some creepy stuff, but she had a blast. It also comes with this little campaign book. So this is the campaign book, the map that I showed, uh, River City, and it gives you a lot of details. So again, full of these wonderful illustrations. Talks about some of the problems in the city, and the way that the story uh, they go into this more in the instruction book or in the uh, rule book, but the way that they do a good job of telling you how to build scenarios and stories, and that's by putting together these big problems with your big person problems. So every cat has these magical kitties. The humans don't know that they're magical, but they are secretly saving their grown-ups from all sorts of troubles, which is also really smart for kids because kids want to feel that power. They want to feel like they're helping their parents out. So that's just a lovely little touch. Um, so what are we? So there's different locations here. There's it has it all numbered out here, so you can refer back to the map. And then there are humans, so you can assign your cats to these humans and just roll them. For instance, my 4-year-old got Rosie Watson, the quick-witted racer, and that actually tied in really nicely with the scenario I wanted. So I was thinking of a scenario that involved the junkyard and involved maybe, this mech raccoon that was in the comic book, and so that just was able to really make a connection. So for that to happen in that first game gave me a sense that you're going to be able to build stories and scenarios very easily for your players. It gives some challenges that you might not face. That's not in the normal rule book. So there are some dinosaurs. There's a big dinosaur problem, which would be great. Again, you can kind of tailor it to what your kids are into. Are your kids into aliens? Then you can make aliens the big bad. Kids into dinosaurs? You can make dinosaurs the big bad. And at the end, which I really appreciate, it does come with a starting adventure. And this is a trip into a library and into portals within books, which is, again, a great scenario to play with kids. And there's also just a lot of opportunities for role playing in here. And again, this is not a combat tactical game. Uh, it's not to say that exciting moments won't happen, combat won't happen, but that's not the focus. A lot of it is about it's role playing, but it's also exploration. There's a big exploration element here. All right, so let's dig into the rule book here. So the rules are they give you lots of examples of how to play, and they make it clear too. This is not a game about winning. It's about creating the story, and that's something that is important for anyone who's new. I think there probably could be families too who pick this up because it looks like a tabletop game, and it might be their first time experience in a role playing game, and it's definitely a different scenario. Um, and then it goes through your character creation, and when you're creating kitties, you choose it starts off with your name and description, some of the flavor pieces, and then you have 3 attributes. First one, of course, is cute, which is great. Then there's cunning and fierce, and use those together, and you just quickly rank them. So it's a very quick character creation system. Then you pick a talent, a flaw, and a magical power. And let's go into some of the details here because these are, I think, there's a lot here. There's a a D66 table here to roll on to help you describe or come up with ideas about your character. Uh, or you can just pick one. So there's a talent could be musical, or it's a big kitty, or it's sneaky. They may also have human problems. So it does talk a lot about your humans, and that comes in more in the campaign play. That did not really have a part in the one shot, but other than background story. But the humans really set up that long campaign arc and allow you to make longer stories. You have a table for flaws, and then you have a tale for magical powers. So what are the magical powers? So my daughters, they chose. Well, my 4-year-old changed her mind a little bit in the middle of the game, but she eventually landed on invisibility, and my other daughter went on catfish. And the thing here is, of course, when you have these magical powers, then it's incumbent on the GM. This does have a game master, referee. That person in charge of running the game runner, really has to be conscious of the player's magical powers. Make sure that they present opportunities for them to use that. Other than, and that can happen naturally, but if you can, make it craft the story towards those scenarios, that's where you're going to have the best experience. All of the magical powers also have bonus features, and so that is how progression happens. So my daughter went through this adventure, she had her catfish, and after that adventure I allowed her to pick a bonus feature as kind of a level up, and her bonus feature is water warping. So now, in addition to not just being a cat who can swim really well in the water, she also can warp water, which she can mentally command it and move it around. So the other thing that you could tell is these powers are pretty powerful, actually. My youngest, again, was invisible, And I was coming from this 5e world where it's like, oh, you use your invisibility, you pop out of invisibility. No, there's nothing like that in this game. So she got to be this invisible kitty the entire time, but it really allowed her to um, explore different ideas and be sneaky, and she just really had a great time. So when you're playing the game again, you're adding up dice, and when you have a challenge, you're saying, okay, I'm rolling +1 to +4 for my ability and my cute, cunning, or is it a cute, cunning, or fierce ability? You can kind of come to an agreement as a group on that, and then you pick if it involves your talent. If you can justify that you're using your talent, that's another +1, and if you can justify using your magical power, or you can narrate how you're using your magical power, you get +2 to your dice. So this is great. It's really encouraging the players to think creatively, to use those powers and talents, and to weave them into the story. So a good mechanic that's simple and allowing for that engagement. There's a lot of help about running the game, which again, helpful for people who might be new to TTRPGs. And then there is a lot in this book about problems. And this really gets to the idea that the rules are simple. So once you get the rules out of the way, it's really about how are you creating, what is this menu that you have to create different adventures and stories. And that can be hard if you don't have pre-scripted adventures and you're maybe not used to doing this. So this it gives you a pathway to do that, and then it gives you these foes to drop in there. And the foes, there is a combat, but their stats are really, they have difficulties related to, are you trying a cute attack or challenge against them, a cunning challenge or a fierce challenge. Then they have an owie limit, and that's the damage system. There are owies. No kitties are going to die in this game, but they may get knocked out or may have to run away, for instance. So lots of challenges. Some are mundane, like guard dogs. Some are magical, like a big dragon. Yeah, that's from the cover. Just great, great pictures throughout. I love this ghostly kitty over here. There also are aliens. And then there are disasters too. So it gives you another option if, these different sorts of foes are getting a little boring. You can throw in a disaster like a curse or a magical plague or a wildfire. And then there's a nice glossary at the end and the GM Adventure reference. So that is Magical Kitty Save the Day. I think the character sheets are not in here, but they do have a reference here. But it does also come with character sheets, so they must be in another box. But there's a whole set of character sheets for you to use. Comes with a ton of stuff. It's easily worth it just to have a role-playing game that you can play with anyone. And I'm proud to say that this was the first role-playing game that my 4-year-old played, and she had a great time. And we had this situation where they were chasing down this mecha raccoon in the junkyard, and he was working on this device, and they had to get this piece of equipment back from this mech raccoon. And my 4-year-old, who had been invisible the whole time, said, "I know. I'll sneak up behind and I'll get the item and I'll pull it away." And we didn't prompt her at all. It was our first, in my mind, it was our first like true role playing, uh, problem solving, decision making, and it was just really exciting to have a platform to do that with everyone in the family. Everyone had a good time. So easily worth it. A lot in here. You can get, uh, you know, 1 or 2 games, or you can run a long campaign, every night with your family, and really dig into these fun and cute stories. So Magical Kitty Saves the Day, available on Tabletop Bookshelf. I'll be doing these flip throughs probably once a week, so like and subscribe if you want to hear more. Thank you very much.